This is your weekend morning news weather now.
Good morning, and thank you for starting your weekend with us. I'm Caroline Rowland in for Sandra, Chief Meteorologist. Brian Carrick is joining me now. And Brian, a wet start to the weekend?
Yeah, wet start to August. Looks like showers and storms. We were talking about the soccer game tonight at 7:30, and it looks like we'll start the game off with some rain. But it looks like it will taper during the game.
Well, at least one person is in the hospital after an early morning shooting in downtown Orlando. It happened just under I-4 near West Central Boulevard and North Garland Avenue. And that's where we find News 13's Jerry Hume live on the scene. Jerry, that's not too far from the Orlando Police Department.
Yeah, Carolyn, we're just in front of the federal court.
A 12-year-old Orlando boy will face a judge this morning charged with attempted murder after investigators say he targeted a transgender woman. The possible hate crime happened late Thursday night on Orange Blossom Trail and Church Street. Andrew West, who identifies as a 26-year-old woman named Shandabine Sherrington, says she felt like the shooter targeted her. She says Thursday night she was dressed as a woman, and she says the 12-year-old suspect, who we are not identifying according to our News 13 crime guidelines, was screaming profanities at her as he fired his gun.
He was just saying foul words. Thankfully, I had witnesses that was out there that saw this young man shooting and chasing me down the street.
Police found the gun that the boy threw in a nearby field. They say it was listed as stolen. The 12-year-old was arrested and charged with attempted murder and grand theft of a firearm. A man who was wanted in connection with the deadly shooting of a pregnant woman has been arrested in Brevard County. Quentin Terrence Woodruff was taken into custody late last night at Pinto's Motel on U.S. Highway 1 in Port St. John after being on the run for more than a month. Woodruff is a suspect in the shooting death of 24-year-old Brandy Kelly. Kelly was shot and killed June 30th as she stood inside the sliding glass door of an apartment at Emerald Place Apartments in Titusville. She was pregnant at the time. Woodruff is her estranged boyfriend. Nearly 2 weeks ago, investigators thought they had Woodruff cornered at a home in Mims, but after an hours-long standoff, officers swarmed the home and came up empty-handed. Once again, murder suspect Quentin Terrence Woodruff has been arrested and taken to the Brevard County Jail. New information right now. Police have arrested yet another person in connection with the theft of several high-power weapons from a gun show at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. It happened on the 4th of July. Police say they have arrested a 15-year-old boy. Per our crime guidelines, we are not naming him because he's not being charged as an adult. Officers have already arrested 3 other people in connection with the theft and have recovered several of the guns. A taxi found in a lake, and now Orlando police need your help in finding the driver who was behind the wheel. Officers found blood inside this man, Michael Smith's taxi, after it was pulled from Sunset Lake just west of the Citrus Bowl, and police suspect foul play. Some people in the neighborhood also told us they thought they heard gunfire earlier in the morning.
It's scary because last week my tires was vandalized, all my tires were slashed, and now this week this is going on. So our neighbors out here now, we're very concerned because we do have a neighborhood watch.
Again, police are looking for any information about missing cab driver Michael Smith. He works for Holiday Transport Taxi Service. Call Orlando Police or Crime Line if you know where he is. The controversy over the Confederate flag flying at the Marion County Government Center continues. Dozens of people against the flag held a silent protest at the square in downtown Ocala last night. Opponents say the flag stands for hate and bigotry, and it's not about Southern pride. They don't want the flag to fly on public property at the Marion County Government Complex, but supporters of the flag, including some who participated with thousands of others in the Florida Southern Pride Ride a few weeks ago, proudly held their own counter-protest and rally.
Nobody was protesting it before that happened, but now it's like lit up. One kid stirred all this up. If everybody had a problem, why wasn't somebody doing last year about it?
We have a number of strategies, including the possibility of an economic boycott.
Marion County commissioners say they want the flag issue resolved by mid-September or early October, so they're currently asking the Marion County Historical Commission for an opinion on the best place to display the flag. The Marion County Historical Commission will have a public meeting about the Confederate flag Monday night at 5:30 at the Marion County Growth Services Building. That's on East Silver Springs Boulevard. A search is underway for a missing diver in the Florida Keys. Coast Guard search and rescue crews are searching for 37-year-old diver Pedro Fernandez. He was reported missing approximately 7 miles south of Cujo Key yesterday evening around 6. Fernandez was last seen wearing a camouflage wetsuit and a yellow belt. Miami and Key West Coast Guards are working together to find Hernandez. The Coast Guard has suspended the search for the two 14-year-old South Florida boys lost at sea, but volunteers are continuing to search. The official search for Perry Cohen and Austin Stefanos ended at sunset last night. Coast Guard officials admitted the decision to suspend the search was an agonizing one.
I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old. So the decision to suspend was excruciating and gut-wrenching for me personally.
Despite the Coast Guard's decision to suspend this search, that is not stopping the teen's family and friends who are vowing to keep looking. And they are not alone. Volunteers manning boats and aircraft say they'll press on in the search for the two boys. Perry and Austin were last seen a week ago Friday in Jupiter Inlet, fueling up their boat for a fishing trip. The boys' capsized boat was recovered on Sunday in Ponce Inlet. Over $300,000 have been raised to continue the search efforts for the boys. Covering Volusia County, where a bar owner was arrested for having a gun he wasn't supposed to have. George Lopez was arrested yesterday for an incident at Poppy's Bottle Club on July 15th. Deputies say Lopez and a security guard pointed guns at people who they say backed a truck into the club's front door. Lopez has a felony conviction on his record. This is a mugshot from one of his previous arrests, and because of that felony, he's not allowed to have a gun. Lopez is charged with illegal gun possession, and back in 2013 there was another incident at the club, but that time it involved a deadly shooting. Florida decides it was a big day for some presidential hopefuls as they met with mostly African-American voters yesterday, talking about racial inequalities. Both Republican and Democratic presidential candidates were keynote speakers at the 2015 National Urban League Conference in Fort Lauderdale, which included some big names like Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. Along with the inequalities, Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton even mentioned the shooting death of Trayvon Martin in her speech.
Too many times now, Americans have come together in shock